Hey guys, thank you for watching the SlatRock channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon to get notified every time we post a new video. And if you've already done so, just make sure that it's still active. Today we present you WWE superstars you probably didn't know almost died as a result of a wrestling injury. Number 10. Mass Transit 1996. Remaining in ECW, the mass transit incident now lives in infamy as one of the most disgusting moments in the company's hardcore history. When 17-year-old Eric Koulas wanted to become a pro wrestler, he wouldn't let anything stop him, not even his age. Telling officials he was 23 and trained by Killer Kowalski, the same man who trained Triple H, Koulas worked as mass transit, a heel who, despite his villainous acts, did not deserve what happened to him. Facing off against New Jack, the Kid told Jack to cut him for drama, though the gangsta went too deep, severing an artery, with Koulas bleeding profusely. As fans, including Koulas' own father, begged for the match to stop, New Jack took things further in a hate-filled racist promo, saying he didn't care if Koulas died because Jack hated all white people. The incident led to ECW temporarily losing their first pay-per-view, Barely Legal, which was pushed to April 1997. While New Jack was acquitted of any wrongdoing since Koulas had asked him to cut him, the moment nearly cost the young man his life, who died in 2002 due to surgery complications. Number 9. Marty Garner 1996. Many fans will have never heard of Marty Garner, but they certainly know of his opponent in the match that nearly took Garner's life, Triple H. In May 1996, Garner faced Helmsley, still working as a snobby blue blood during a taping of WWF Superstars. During the match, the future King of Kings attempted a pedigree. Unfortunately, Garner had never taken the move before and, thinking it was some kind of powerbomb or suplex, jumped far too high, with Garner crashing on the top of his head, suffering neck damage. To make the injury more shocking, the botched move was not edited out of any broadcast of Superstars and was even featured as the WWF's Slam of the Week. After close examination, doctors concluded that Garner had nearly been paralyzed by the move, but like many stars on this list, returned to wrestling not long after. Number 8. Ken Shamrock 1997. While the WWF career of Ken Shamrock may have been brief, the UFC star left a lasting impression. One of the toughest men to step into the squared circle, Shamrock was known for his erratic style, with the former Intercontinental Champion often foaming stage blood from the mouth. But Shamrock's most unforgettable bout of internal bleeding was legit and could have nearly taken the superstar's life. Appearing with fellow WWF superstar Vader as part of Japan's FMW, Shamrock worked the show with both a lung infection and a bad rib. These were made all the more worse after he was powerbombed by Vader twice during a brutal cage match, which saw the UFC star's lungs fill with blood. Telling Vader not to do the proposed third powerbomb, Shamrock has said that brief message saved his life, as his lung had ripped open and doctors told him that any more hard bumps could cause his lungs to fill with blood, potentially drowning the superstar from the inside. Number 7. Buff Bagwell 1998. On the April 22, 1998 edition of WCW Thunder, Buff Bagwell faced off against Rick Steiner in what should have been a fine but forgettable match. Instead, Bagwell suffered a horrible injury after taking a running bulldog from the Michigan native, with Bagwell's head striking Steiner's back. The botch left Buff unable to move his limbs, with the 5-time WCW Tag Team Champion wheelchair-bound for several months, as his spine had taken the brunt of the damage. Amazingly, Bagwell was able to come back from the brink, returning to WCW just a few months later in July that same year. While his miraculous return could have led to a huge turning point for Bagwell, who no doubt would be seen as a babyface from fans, Bagwell returned to be insulted by Hulk Hogan and quickly turned heel himself not long after. The heel turn halted any future face run Bagwell would have, and in hindsight, it was a stupid decision by WCW, but that's a story for another day. Number 6. Gangrel 1999. In folklore, there are only a handful of items that can harm a vampire, namely holy water, garlic, silver, and sunlight. But in a February 1999 edition of Raw is War, Gangrel nearly lost his life on live television in the most horrific of ways. After crossing The Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness, Gangrel was to be hanged over the top rope with a noose, though the company erroneously tried to save face by calling it a bull rope instead. Speaking on Sean Waltman's podcast in 2016, Gangrel revealed that after bouncing off the ring apron, the noose tightened, with the vampire certain he was going to die as the noose continued to crush his neck. Thankfully, Midian, who thankfully wasn't naked Midian at the time, saved the day, noticing the real danger Gangrel was in and alleviated some of the pressure, saving his life in the process. Number 5. Darren Drozdov, 1999. When NFL star Darren Drozdov vomited on a football during a game, he did not know how much his life would change. Joining the WWF in 1998, Drozdov became Puke, who was the unofficial member of the Legion of Doom. While his first year in the company was okay at best, things went bad quickly in 1999 during an October taping of SmackDown. When his opponent D'Lo Brown went for his running powerbomb, Droz's loose t-shirt caused things to go wrong, as neither man could get the proper grip and Droz landed on his head. Paralyzed from the waist down, Droz's in-ring career instantly came to an end, with the match being pulled from the show. According to Mick Foley, who was at the arena that night, D'Lo Brown was distraught at the disaster, though Droz told him not to blame himself, saying accidents happen. While his in-ring career has ended, Droz is now a permanent employee of WWE and has regained mobility in most of his upper body. To this day, he still considers the move that changed his life and still holds no ill will towards Brown in a true show of class. Number 4. Hayabusa, 2001. A legend of Japanese wrestling, the death of Hayabusa in March 2016 sent shockwaves through the community, even though the FMW star nearly died over a decade earlier. Facing Mammoth Sasaki in October 2001, the match had a big fight feel to it, with the stipulation being that if Hayabusa won, his friend Soichi Arai would be reinstated as FMW president. Attempting a maneuver off the middle rope, Hayabusa lost his footing, cracking 2 of his vertebrae and leaving the legend wheelchair-bound for years. Shockingly, Hayabusa was able to stand on his feet in 2015 with the help of a cane, which sadly makes it all the more tragic when he passed away a year later at age 47. Number 3. Scott Steiner, 2007. After leaving WWE in 2004, it was only a matter of time before Scott Steiner brought his unique physique and even more unique promos to TNA Wrestling. Appearing at a house show in San Juan, Big Papa Pump teamed with James Storm to take on Jeff Jarrett and local star Apollo. During the match, Apollo caught Freakzilla off guard with a quick kick to the throat, which led to Steiner coughing up blood. He was quickly rushed to the hospital where the situation looked grim, as he was diagnosed with a torn trachea and reportedly given less than 6 hours to live. Over the next month, Steiner would face all sorts of procedures to repair his body, including doctors having to cut through his ribs and lungs to repair the wound. And if that wasn't enough, Steiner wasn't allowed to fly back to the mainland, as the cabin pressure could have caused his lung to collapse, meaning the former WCW star traveled back on boat, a trip that took a grueling, painful week for Big Papa Pump. Number 2. Tyson Kidd, 2015. Tyson Kidd was one of WWE's most reliable workhorses, debuting in the company's ECW brand in 2009. After a resurgence of his career in NXT in 2014, the Canadian star faced off against a relatively new Samoa Joe, who had used his signature muscle buster for over a decade. Unfortunately, in this dark match, the move fractured Kidd's neck, sadly ending his in-ring career just as Kidd was becoming a big star once again. The only upside to all this, if there is one, is that Kidd's injury could have been much worse. He underwent surgery that required 16 staples, 4 scores, and the insertion of a rod into his neck, an operation that, according to Kidd, only 5% of people survive. In an interview, Dave Meltzer compared the injury to the horse riding accident actor Christopher Reeve suffered in 1995, which left the former Superman paralyzed for life. Nowadays, Kid has transitioned to a backstage role and appears regularly on Total Divas alongside wife Natalya. Sean Waltman, 1992. Whether it be as the 1-2-3 Kid in the WWF, Six in WCW, or X-Pac during the Attitude Era, Sean Waltman has sustained his share of notable injuries, from neck injuries in the 90s to a torn anus during Jerry Lynn's retirement show. But in November 1992, the 46-year-old's life nearly came to an untimely end at a show in New Jersey. Waltman was outside of the ring, where he was supposed to catch his opponent's suicide dive, but the unnamed star overshot him, causing a collision, with Waltman's head crashing into the concrete floor. Instantly knocked out, Waltman later suffered a blood clot near his brain and ended up in the hospital for several days after. Sean Waltman was advised to retire, but clearly did not take doctor's advice and won the Tag Team Championships with Marty Jannetty just over a year later. TAZZ, 1995. In the original ECW, TAZZ was presented as the ultimate fighting machine, who mowed down each and every opponent. A former football star and judo fighter, the New Yorker was a huge favorite of the ECW crowd who respected his in-ring style, persona, and toughness. But on July 15, 1995, that toughness was pushed to the limit as TAZZ teamed with Eddie Guerrero to face Dean Malenko and Too Cold Scorpio. Mid-match, the FTW champion was hoisted up for a spike piledriver, but failed to properly brace for the move, coming down on his forehead at a slanted angle. After the match, TAZZ somehow walked to the hospital to the amazement of medical staff, given the severity of damage to his neck. While he would return several months later, the submission machine would abruptly retire in 2002 due to this and other injuries. Like he'd say on commentary, this ain't ballet. Number 1. Dean Ambrose, 2017. In an interview with The Monitor, Dean Ambrose recently revealed that he was very close to death due to a recent incident during his recovery. After going under the knife for a triceps injury in December 2017, a staph infection was detected, one that could have ended the former WWE champion's life. Ambrose said, "I ended up having 2 different surgeries. I had this MRSA staph infection. I nearly died. I was in the hospital for a week, plugged up to this antibiotic drip thing, and I was on all these antibiotics for months that make you puke and crap your pants. To go from not being able to eat my Fruit Loops to being able to get back in the ring and throw people around and throw punches and do everything back to normal, it was a very gratifying feeling." Thankfully, Ambrose has been able to return, teaming with his Shield brother Seth Rollins before betraying him in one of the greatest heel turns in recent memory. Well guys, that's our list. Can you name any other wrestlers who almost died doing what they love? Drop us a comment below and let us know. If you like this video, don't forget to check out our previous video, 14 famous pro wrestlers who grew up poor. And also check out our other high-rated videos by clicking at the upper right-hand corner or down in the description field. If you did like this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, and the bell icon so you don't miss any new uploads. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and as always, thank you for watching.